Good morning. This is Shar with livingcharmed.ca. I am a certified professional life and relationship reset coach, and my website is livingcharmed.ca. So please, by all means, go visit and take a look around if you like. I wanted to come on today and talk about acceptance and boundaries. And it may not be especially when we're talking about boundaries, what you've heard before. We hear a lot of coaches, speakers, even pastors talking about boundaries and having to remove certain people from our lives. And this morning, I heard a talk like that, and it kind of sparked something inside of me, and I couldn't figure out why it bothered me. And I guess it's because that's really doesn't align with my own set of beliefs, and my beliefs are my beliefs, your beliefs are your beliefs. But I've said before that I use all my writing and my coaching is spiritually based. So when I say my beliefs, I truly do believe that when I say this, I am in alignment with God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit as I speak this, because it just there's so much power in that, right, in God, and that's why I use this. I've talked many times about that, and there's so much common sense, and I'm a very common sense kind of girl. um, you know Sort of, if it's not broken, don't fix it, things like that. Just common sense. Just there's so many of us that don't use common sense anymore, and we really need to sometimes sit back and think about our actions and how we are in the world. But that all being said, it's acceptance, accepting other people, and then having boundaries. So what I have took issue with today is the removing of people in your life. Where I think we're very quick to remove people in our lives, to 86 them when we don't align with them, especially if it happens often, or if they are considered toxic people. There's another word that we're used to hearing a lot. So here's where I'm going with this. I'm gonna use Jesus because he's a great example of a human that walked on this earth as a human, in part God, part human, and he did it well. He did it like no other human can. Uh, Only he could love that way, and he showed us how we're supposed to love each other, and he does still love us, right? And we're still learning but we're learning through the Holy Spirit now. So it's a great connection to have. I mean, that's a gift in itself. Uh, so where I'm going, I'll get back to the point, I'm sorry, is the removing of people in our lives. Well, if you take a page from Jesus's book, he sought out imperfect people that would have been considered toxic back then. Um, some pretty unfavorable behaviors, and he not only sought them out, he invited them in and he hung out with them. And the reason, I believe, is because he knew who he was. He knew who he was. His armor was a whole different kind of armor. His values, he knew what they were, and he aligned with them, and nothing was going to infiltrate that. Nothing was going to get inside and infect that. And so when pastors especially talk about removing people because they can infect us, sure, I guess that could happen when you're not set up for when you're not aligned with who you are and set on the values that you value, that you are aligned with, and they are set in stone. That's your armor, right? So if you are around a toxic person and that gets inside of you, well, then maybe you need to look at uh, your own level of strength, and how you have set yourself up, right? So when you've got that strong foundation, nothing should be able to get in there anyway. So the saying, hate the act, the sin, but don't hate the person, the sinner, that's very true here, right? So we shouldn't I don't believe that we should have to 86 somebody from our lives just because they are considered toxic on a regular basis around us, right? Those are the people that we need to love the most, actually. Those are the people that need this that kind of person around them. So, if you find yourself wanting to be around somebody um, that is would be considered toxic, and you just want to you feel the need to help them, that's okay too, as long as you don't let that inside of you, as long as you don't share the negativity from them and let it get inside of you. If your armor is on and you're aligned with your values and you're set up in the way that you should be set up, it should be okay to let anybody around you. So the boundary thing goes to how strong actually you are and how aligned you are with your own set of values. If you are 100% in alignment with what you value and what you deem is good and valuable, then their stuff should not be able to get in on the inside of you. Now, we all have weak moments, right? We all have weak moments. I just recently was greatly offended. I was tired. My defenses were down. I was weak. I let my defenses down. I was not where I was supposed to be. I was hurt, offended, and I wanted to lash back out. But thank God I did not. I took the pause. And because I was not set up where and fully obviously aligned with the values that I truly value, otherwise I wouldn't have let that toxicity get inside of me. I decided to walk away instead of defend what I deemed was wrong coming from them. Right there. How dare they say that about me? How dare they don't even know what they're talking about. They're an idiot, if we want to get harsh, right? We get down and dirty and we get mad when somebody offends us, and especially when our defenses are down. So I'm grateful that I took the pause because I slept on it and I feel so much better this morning. And I'm so happy that I did, because it would have just gotten worse, right? Then I go after them, they go after me, and then it goes back and forth, and then feelings keep getting hurt, and nothing gets resolved there. Nothing ever gets resolved there. So it's always better to take a pause and come back at it with a different attitude. And sometimes it doesn't even need to be addressed. So and I will say, of course, as always, there's always exceptions to the rule. There are people that can be pretty messed up and dangerous in some cases, and of course, when that happens, then boundaries have to be set, and maybe some pretty good ones, some protective ones, right? But if you're aligned with your values, then you are protected, and you can be around and love the people around you. There should be very, very few circumstances where we have to 86 someone from our lives. So just something for y'all to think about. And by the way, when I say this is not to bring peace to the people around you. It does, which is great. It's always great to do that. But also, for the most part, it's to bring peace to yourself. And that's the ultimate goal here, right? Peace and happiness within is always going to be the ultimate goal, because the more that you can feel at peace and happy with yourself, the better off you're always going to be. That's what we all strive for, right? At the end of the day, we all want that. We want to feel that sense of happiness, joy, all that stuff. The negativity is never feels good, right? So that's just my thought for the day. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all next time, and have a good day and stay happy.